Welcome on into the Stroke Limit Reach podcast. I'm your host, Nick, here with my co-host, Mike.
Yep.
And we've got another special guest on today, Matt.
What it do?
So we are back, and we are talking about the NFC today. Mike, you'd like to tell the folks what divisions we're going to be covering?
Yeah, so last week we covered the entirety of the AFC, and we realized that was a fucking mistake.
Long episode.
Very long episode. Couldn't go over all the details we wanted to do. So we're going to cut it down. We're going to do 2 of the divisions, 8 teams. So we're going to cover the NFC East, and we're going to cover the NFC West. Early next week, do the same thing, covering the North and the South.
Yep. So, we're officially back. Just so everyone knows.
There's football on last night.
Correct,
Oh, yeah.
Matt. Correct. And there is not another week until February where there is not some type of football playing, which is insane to think about. So we appreciate everyone trying to drag it through us in this offseason. And we're 30 days out from college football. And now we've got preseason games to talk about. So before we even get into our NFC, floor and ceilings, let's talk a little bit about the preseason game yesterday and more about the technology and not as much about the game. So I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but in tennis, there was an invention called Hawkeye, and you can see exactly in slow motion where the ball lands, if it's in or out. They also use it in soccer in the Premier League. It's called VAR, and you can tell by a fucking nut hair if the ball is offsides or not. So the NFL decided, 6 years after this invention, and we're out there fucking landed rockets in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean on barges, that holy shit, maybe we should get with technology and let's try to implement this in the preseason. So personally, I'm a big fan of this. I don't know why we haven't adopted this sooner. I'm hoping they try it in college. I understand that it's harder logistically in college to do it with smaller teams, but for NFL, it's a no-brainer. Why are we relying on 70-year-old fucking referees that have to wear glasses that are on the sideline when a football field is like 50 yards wide? They're like, yeah, he looked like he was past, the first down marker, so let's go ahead and give it to him. So we've seen it in the past, especially in college. The first thing that comes to mind, I know, Mike, we were talking about this, Jadeveon Clowney, that what made him famous was them turning the ball over, Michigan getting a first down on a clearly about a half-yard short. So this eliminates all that bullshit. And I know personally as a football fan, yeah, it's going to hurt sometimes when my team, comes up and ends short. But in the long run, I think this is perfect for football, especially the NFL.
I'd rather be mad that we didn't get something that we didn't deserve
Or the other team barely getting it.
Didn't get something that we did deserve.
Yeah, I agree. So how to get that ran out?
It's insane they're just now doing this. It's been my biggest gripe, dude. We're still using chains.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I was telling Nick, I didn't really see too much last night. Are they using anything to still identify the first down marker?
Yeah, I mean, they'll still
For
have
the
the
players?
chains out there.
Okay, so that was
They'll
what I
still
was
have the chain
curious
gang.
about. If they were still going to have a chain, that just wasn't what they were going to rely on for the marker.
Personally, though, I think you're going to see where this Hawkeye kind of automatically AI sets the first down, and then you're just going to have, you almost see nowadays the ball marker, like the guy that holds the black pole, it's all digital.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're going to see that, and it's just going to be a guy with no chain standing at the first down marker so people can see.
With just one
the
big
coaches can be
pole.
like, oh, yeah, we're still 4 yards out. Because I agree.
Because there needs to be something on the field.
The
for
coaches have to
players.
be able to tell, and so do the players. I mean, the players aren't going to know where this imaginary line is to get the first down.
Yeah.
So, but they can definitely get away from the actual chain because I feel like that takes forever. And for some reason, if it ever breaks, it's like 20 minutes to replace this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get in it. Let's talk about arguably one of the best teams in the NFL, and we'll start off with San Francisco, Mike.
All right, so 49ers seems to be the big dog to beat. They are just absolutely dominant with studs on all sides of the ball. Free agent, or I guess cap space for this team is non-existent, and you can thank the fact that Mr. fucking irrelevant is the starting QB making $200,000 a year.
Yeah. Sixth best cap space situation.
Yeah, until they have to pay the man. Once when they pay that man, they'll be in a hell. But while they don't have to pay him, championship window's open. They can do whatever the fuck they want. So, Matt, go ahead and tell us a little bit about this team.
They are fucking awesome. Their offense is literally perfect. Now, barring, I will say, there is a lot of Brandon Ayuk noise going on, right? I mean, obviously, but he wasn't at practice today. He's been holding in, so he's been at practice. And then yesterday, there was a video that appeared. It looked like him going up to the head coach and the GM, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, and it looked like some celebratory dab, like they were some very nice handshakes. And then he wasn't at practice today, and there's a lot of I know I'm a Steeler fan, but there's a lot of noise that he's on his way to Pittsburgh right now. And because people have found people online, I saw this earlier when I got off work. People online have found, like, I don't know how they would know if he's getting on the plane, but apparently someone found that he's getting on the plane, and there is a plane scheduled.
Well, it's probably just
to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's probably just the private jet that the Steelers own. They see is in San Francisco. That would probably be
and it is scheduled to go back to Pittsburgh though. So I told Mike insane. I really don't want them that bad. I mean, it depends what we give up, but just for talking about the San Francisco 49ers, he might not be there.
And I know we don't want to talk about it a lot because we just talked about the Steelers, but hypothetically, one of our biggest gripes about them was they don't really have a number one receiver. You have
they do. They have George. They don't have number.
They don't have anyone. Yeah, it was outside of George. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is still. This is Pickens who's trying to prove himself right compared to Ayuk.
Yeah. I just bring it up to say that, like, we may not have him on this team, and I think that does. I mean, it's not that it makes him bad. It's not that Brandon Ayuk made him unbeatable, but like,
Brandon Ayuk was the consistent receiver over there because you got Debo who missed 6 games a year.
Yeah, he averaged 17 yards a catch, something like that. It was the second most behind George.
Yeah.
Just extremely efficient, amazing route runner. So not having him will hurt. But without that, I mean, dude, their offensive line is awesome. Brock Purdy is just the most solid fucking quarterback you could ever hope to just stumble into. I mean, he's not. Honestly, he really does remind me of Tom Brady. Like he really
doesn't do flashy shit because he doesn't need to.
Yes, he's just good. He just gets it to the right guy. He's got the good enough arm. You know, he's
got the grit to fucking make the ugly plays.
Yeah, and he's just surrounded by absolute dogs. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the league. When
healthy, absolutely. And he's been healthy his entire time in San Fran.
Yeah, and Elijah Mitchell, like, dude, he can be an RB1 on a team. Like, he's an amazing backup for them just to have.
Mm-hmm. But let's not forget, they have undrafted free agent, best running back in this last class.
Who?
Mr. Schrader.
Oh, God. Another white.
Another white. Another Christian McCaffrey clone. Maybe a little bit slower.
I was about to say, much slower.
Maybe a little bit slower and a little bit more powerful.
Yeah. I don't think anyone after Christian and Mitchell really matter.
I think it's taking Mitchell's spot.
Well, let's go over their defense. Yeah. So it looks like they lost Chase Young, but they picked up Leonard Floyd. What do you think about that?
So Chase Young is young. He was a very high prospect. He never really performed up to his hype.
Still
but
good,
that was a lot of health issues. Like I don't think he's had a season where he's played a full 17.
But even he was still good. Just like, he did have some hiccups in the playoffs last year. I will say that he did have some mess ups for sure.
Yeah, and replace him with Floyd. Floyd's solid, but he's old. He's past his prime.
Almost 32 years old.
Yeah, but their big loss would definitely be Javon Kinlaw, their interior D lineman. He really shut things down, and I don't know if they really got a good guy to replace him. Right now, currently, they got Javon Hargrave and Malik Collins from Houston, it looks like. I don't know much about him. So that area is going to be a little bit of a concern. But, I mean, their defense is still stacked all across the board.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Hargrave is going to be pretty solid, but...
Hargrave's good.
Yeah. I mean, you just have, one edge rusher and an interior D lineman you'd have to worry about, but then you've got 2 pretty solid linebackers behind him.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the best middle linebacker in football right now with,
yeah.
Why am I struggling with old boy's name?
What, Bobby
The
Wagner?
most annoying player to play against in
that.
Madden, dude. Fred Warner. Oh, my gosh. I never want to play against that dude in Madden. It's ridiculous.
I mean, all around, this team is just fucking good. Like, it's the scariest team to come up against. You don't want to see them on your schedule, home or away. They're just complete all across the board.
It's just like the Chiefs. Like, they should be in the Super Bowl this year.
I don't mean to cut y'all off, but I just want to fuck with Mike. Do you see who their starting slot receiver is?
Yeah, I know. It's the dude from fucking Florida. One of the dumbest draft. I think it was a dumb draft pick. We went over that earlier.
What, Ricky?
Yeah.
And actually, no. Right now, he's technically not. It's depending on the Brandon Ayuk situation. If they're
they have Ayuk out wide.
Even then,
so they have Juwan Jennings out.
Right now it's Deebo Samuel.
They got Juwan Jennings.
Yeah,
that Kyle Shanahan.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Matt.
Kyle Shanahan has talked very glowingly of Juwan Jennings' run blocking.
Yeah, I would imagine Juwan would stay as their starting slot when the season actually starts and they release their depth chart, as long as Ayuk is still on the team.
Yeah, I mean, guys are going to get moved around position-wise.
For sure. Ricky's going to get playing time. But I feel like they could have got a better receiver at 24 overall.
But he is a good slot guy. He finds a way to be open. He never drops the fucking ball.
And there's been a lot of talk at training camp how he's struggling getting separation from that slot position.
Yeah, there was a really bad clip of him.
Yeah, where the dude made 20 fucking jukes within a yard and a half of the line.
Speaking of clips, did y'all see the Xavier Worthy versus press coverage?
Yeah, we saw it. The linebacker absolutely fucking brutalized it for no reason.
Yeah, he gets pressed off by the corner and demolished by the backer.
Yeah. Totally unnecessary.
I will say, though, don't take that to heart. He just got one play.
No,
there are many plays of him beating press coverage and scoring a touchdown. So
that was just hilarious. It was funny though. That is definitely the welcome to the NFL moment.
I mean,
that was literally me out on a football field, just getting pushed around.
Going to this team though, we can all agree this is top team in the country. Probably the number one favorite in the NFC to represent. They didn't lose a whole lot. They gained into some areas. Like this team didn't get crippled. They're still top of the fucking game.
It's another year for Brock.
Yeah, so what is I'm curious, the over-under on wins. Are you able to pull that up, Nick?
I can do that. Yeah.
It's gotta be like 11 or 12.
Yeah, I was gonna say 12.5 probably.
Yeah.
And looking at the schedule, trying to see what divisions they pulled.
This is Fox Sports, so they're obviously pulling it from probably, if I had to guess, probably Caesar Sportsbook. But 11.5, the most in the NFL.
I like that line. I'd take the over.
Right now, the Super Bowl, so the San Francisco 49ers are the highest odds to win the Super Bowl at plus 600. And they have a minus 500 to advance or to make the playoffs. I'm sorry.
Minus 500 just to make the playoffs seems like a steal, honestly.
It's still it's 500 to 100. Yeah, it's the highest odds. I'll confirm again. I'll try to get a sports
plus
book.
500 just to make the playoffs.
Minus 500.
Minus 5. Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, no, I'm about to go put my bank
account
on that, dude.
Here we go.
Ridiculous.
So I just have all the NFC West teams here, and this is per bet MGM. So, yeah, San Francisco, 11.5 for the over-under, I'm sorry. And it looks like it's minus 125. The favorite is fewer than 11. Which is insane.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule now. Looks like they play the AFC East as the AFC division to play. And then they also pulled the NFC North. So Packers, Lions, Bears, and Vikings. Their schedule doesn't seem extremely hard outside of their matchups with like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Rams. Dude, I'm hammering that over.
Everyone's got a tough schedule, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, yeah, it's the NFL. Everyone's got a tough schedule.
I mean, just so you know, they have the 18th hardest schedule.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't look, compared to other teams I've seen, excessively difficult for the caliber team that we're talking about.
So one of the cool analytics, though, that they have on here is San Francisco, 17 of their games, the other opponent has more time to prepare, whether that is them playing like
primetime games,
a primetime game, get more time, or coming off a bye week. So that is what's driving the under 11.5, according to Vegas.
Okay.
The San Francisco does?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, now I think that's important. That's good information. Because that really matters, how much time you had to prepare for someone.
Yeah, I mean, they said 17 games. Don't they play 17?
Play 18.
So they have one.
No, you're right, 17.
So every game, games. The other team has the advantage and rest.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's honestly insane.
That will give you an advantage over a team that you are not better than, you know? That's what will make the strength of schedule not, unless, you know, they add that into their calculations. So when you're just looking at a schedule, you know, you don't know that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So what do we think, guys? Floor and ceiling. I mean, realistically, ceiling for me, I'm going like 10 wins.
Ceiling?
I mean, I'm sorry, floor. I'm starting with the floor. I'm sorry. So I'm not disrespecting them like that. Yeah. Floor, 10. Yeah. If they're going to get under 11.5, it's going to be 11 or 10.
Yeah, barring
still double
detrimental injury, I agree with you. Floor is 10.
Yeah. Floor's 10.
I would say.
I mean, even if Brock goes down, Kyle will make it happen with someone else.
And I would say ceiling.
Who is their backup quarterback?
It's Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, they picked up Dobbs because they got rid of Darnold.
The Rocket Man. Hell yeah.
The Rocket Man, aka the Alien.
Dude, he'll have him looking like Jalen Hurts out there.
I have their ceiling personally at 14. So I didn't want to go 15 just because if you look at that article I was reading, it said 15 is the highest win total that they've ever had.
Yeah.
So
that the 49ers have had?
Correct. So do you really think that this is the team that's going to go over it? It's really good.
This is absolutely a team that could. Like, ceiling, they don't have a ceiling.
Yeah, I think they could.
They don't have a ceiling.
100%. Yeah. Because I was thinking about that from last week when we did it. Like, I think we weren't true. Like, the ceiling is like the absolute best you think they can do. You know, same with floor. It's the absolute, like, the worst, you know,
I don't know,
they could possibly muster up. So, like, I mean, they're boom or bust. You know what I mean? The 49ers are one of those teams where they do not win a Super Bowl. It is a absolutely failed season. They are all
100%.
Especially at this point in the last 5 years, they've lost to the Chiefs twice in the Super Bowl. Like, their goal is Super Bowl. If it's not a Super Bowl, it's an L. If they lose in the Super Bowl, it's an L.
100%.
They need to get one before Brock has to get paid.
Yeah, that's their window right now.
The only thing that scares me, though, is like we were just talking about. If the other team does have the advantage of rest, like 15 wins is 2 losses. Like,
this is a team that even with that rest differential, like talent-wise alone, coaching-wise alone, they're still going to be the advantage team.
I know.
Didn't they win 15 last year, or was it 14?
It was 14, I believe. Yeah, they went. Go back to the home screen, Mike.
They went 12-5 last year.
12-5. So that's a 3-game improvement.
Yeah, because at the end of the year, you
have to think if they rest.
They locked up the first round bye, I think, with like 3 weeks to spare. So they weren't really playing their starters very heavily at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So what do you guys have for their ceiling?
I mean, honestly, their ceiling is undefeated at a Super Bowl. If we're talking realistic,
I mean, I don't think they're going to be undefeated because
everyone's going to play their bench. I don't think we'll ever see
team. just because like they're going to sit at the end of the year. You know?
Yeah, what the Patriots did was insane. What the Dolphins did in the 80s was insane. I don't think we'll ever see that again, especially with a 17-week
more
season.
Competitive now.
17-game season.
Yeah. And you have an extra playoff game. If you're a wild card team.
I think their ceiling for the regular season is what the Ravens did last year. You know, they had 2 losses, right?
I think they had 3.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to put their ceiling at 15. I'm going to give them an extra game.
All right, boys. Let's go to the Cardinals. Talk about the Cardinals.
Cardinals. Hell yeah.
What are we thinking with the Cardinals? Now we're going to have a healthy the fuck's their quarterback? Murray. What's his first name? Kyler. Yeah, I always want to say Kyle for some reason. So you have a healthy Kyler Murray. Can you keep him off the fucking sticks? Keep him away from playing Call of Duty, the new Black Ops game that's going to come out. And can they make something happen? I mean, they won 4 games last year. And they have Marvin Harrison Jr. So, I mean, do we think this is a team that maybe can get to 500?
So this team still has a lot of pieces that they need, right? In last season,
they didn't lose hardly anybody except for Marquise Brown.
Yeah, and last season we have to remember, like, their record looks awful, but they played all of the best teams.
Very close.
And they played them competitively.
100%.
So it's like, they gained pieces, but they're still missing some.
Playing competitive games last year. You're right, but I forgot about that.
Like, I mean, one of their wins was against the Cowboys. I remember in the Giants game, they blew like a 30-point lead in the second half. But I believe even the Niners, it was like within a 1-possession game for a while in one of the weeks. A lot of the teams they played, it was just like they were competitive up until the fourth quarter. Going blow for blow.
Sorry, I'm just mesmerized over here. I just clicked on an article for Arizona Cardinals win total, and it just went up 2 fucking wins. So I'm like, what do they know that we don't? Because it was 5.5 when I was looking at it. Now it's 7.5.
Oh, 5.5 was crazy.
Yeah, 5.5. I'd probably take the over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like overall, you know, like you said, they got some pieces. I don't know about they got one of those shakier defenses to me. Like they're pretty mid. Didn't they lose Baker?
Let me see.
No, defensively they haven't lost anybody. They only lost 1 person last year.
Yeah, they lost Marquise Brown.
Okay,
that's it. Yeah, it's just
it might have been the year before then. Is he still on the team, Mike? Look at the line.
Let me pull up their depth chart. I got it here.
But I think they're going to be one of those really fun teams because I think I'm going to say the same thing for the Seahawks. I think they're going to be one of those teams where their defense ain't that good, but their offense is fucking awesome. I mean, Kyler, but the time he had a 1,000-yard receiver, D-Hop, he was number 2 in fantasy.
Right, but that was a more complete team,
like the most winningest quarterback, but he is so entertaining. Like he's a playmaker. Like he may not he kind of reminds me of Russell Westbrook, to be honest. Like I don't know if he's the game on the line, you know, last drive. I don't know, but dude, just throughout the game, he just has the most impressive plays with his legs. Just improvising, and now he's got Marvin, and Trey McBride was a real weapon for them last year. I mean, he was awesome once they got going, once Kyler came back and everything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, with you comparing it to, the D-Hop year, their offense, specifically, their O-line, was a lot more well-built. That's where my current concern is with the team.
Well, their offensive line looks okay. Compared to
they got Paris Johnson.
Yeah, so Paris Johnson is going into his second year. He was solid last year. Yeah. He wasn't bad. Their tackles aren't where I'm scared. Because they then have Jonah Williams on the other side. What scares me is Will Hernandez, who I know him very well from the Giants. Not a good piece.
I can't believe they have him ranked 22nd guard.
Evan Brown, and I don't even know who the center is. Froholt. I'm not familiar with him. So their interior line does concern me. Their wide receiving core, Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch. Michael Wilson was solid for them last year. Did everything you could ask of him. for the situation that they were.
Watch out for the human Dortch, dude.
I'm
Watch out
not
for
in love
him
with
this
Greg
year,
Dortch.
Man. Dude, he's got some juice to him, and Kyler has been talking him up like crazy this offseason.
When you look at his stats, he has gotten better every year.
Who, Greg?
Yeah, if you click on him, you'll see that. But I mean, he's getting a lot more snaps now. So
don't look at his
to
stats, man. Look at his clips. Watch him run.
No, I'm just saying, like, in 2021, he wasn't even ranked as top receiver.
Yeah.
2022, he was 77th. Last year, he was 59th. So he is increasing.
He's been an undersized guy, an underdog his whole career. I mean, that's the thing. So is Kyler, and he loves the guy. You know, they're homies, dude.
Yeah.
And like you watch him, like the dude's got this, like he can make some plays, man. Like he's really gritty.
Yeah, like I don't think this is a team that we need to worry about making the playoffs. I do think this is a team that's like, hey, you actually do have to pay attention to them, specifically offensively, like you said. I'm not in love with James Conner. He's getting a little old, but he keeps proving me wrong every year.
Yeah,
and being a productive back.
The thing about James is he's going to miss some games.
Yeah,
he's going to miss 5 games, but the ones he plays in, dude, he is going to be so solid.
Yeah, and they did draft Trey Benson from Florida State to back him up as well, who I thought was one of the best backs. Do they have him listed
as 2D?
He's number 2.
He is?
Yeah.
I thought he was one of the best backs in there. They do have a rookie corner starting, Max Melton from Rutgers. I wasn't familiar with him at all.
I'm not really worried about their secondary. You get their secondary and their linebackers, you can get away from that. You look at the interior D-line because they run a 3-4, and it is fucking shit. I know, Matt, you can't see this, but we've got a guy who's ranked 107th, 97th, and their nose guard is 45th.
Yeah, I mean,
and those are out of D-line rankings.
They have 2 undrafted edge rushers in Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones.
Well, I guess they're not really edge rushers. They're kind of like
their outside backers is Zaven Collins, who I guess was drafted in the first round of 21. I'm not familiar with him. And then you got BJ Ojulari, who he was good. I mean, he hasn't really proven that he's great in the NFL, but he was good at the college level. He's a decent pass rusher, but that's about where I'd stop him at. Defensively, this is a team to worry about for sure. What you say their over-under was now? 7?
7.5, which is kind of high because we're talking about can they get to 500? And if you go over 7.5, does that get you to 500?
Yeah, I like 500 for them.
You got to have 9 wins
you have to have 9?
to go over.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 9. It used to be 8-8, but now it's 17 game season.
Okay.
9. Unless they go, 8-8-1.
Yeah, I don't.
Steelers did that one year.
I think they'll be flirting with 500 going to their schedule.
Yeah, I think that's,
I mean, so Saints, Colts, Broncos, Bills, Rams, Lions, Commanders, Niners, Packers, Chargers, Dolphins, Bears, Jets, Seahawks, Vikings, Seahawks again, Patriots, Panthers, Rams, Niners.
Yeah.
With Niners being Week 18, that's a potential win for them just because the Niners should already have that first round locked up if everything goes normally for them.
Well, listen to how crazy this shit is. For them to make the playoffs is only plus 300. Are they thinking that because it's like a 9-win wild card?
In the NFC, there were 3 teams, I believe, that made the playoffs with 9 wins. So if they're flirting with that 500 number, I mean, there's a chance, but
they're realistically probably the worst team in the West, aren't they?
I would put them there. Not necessarily just because they don't have the talent. They're just young. They still have more gaps than these other teams do in the West.
All right, so let's go ceiling. I'm going to go 8 wins. I think that gets them over the over-under, and I think it has to be the ceiling. I don't see them getting 9 wins. So I'm going to go 8.
What do you got, Matt?
So I think they're going to be that team next year that they start off slow, and everyone's questioning Kyler. Everyone's questioning everything about the team. And then the middle of the season, they're going to make some changes, and they're going to look awesome. And then this time next year, everyone's going to be talking about them in a very good way. I kind of like the Raiders last year.
Yeah, because I like the direction they're going in. As long as Kyler could kind of make that next step.
Yeah.
I think they're missing still too many pieces. I don't think they're going to have a great year this year, but I think they're going to have flashes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I would say the ceiling 9. I'd say 5-9.
Okay.
9-5. 2.
9 wins, ceiling, 5 wins, floor.
Yep.
Yeah, I was wanting to go like 5 for the floor and ceiling. I'm stuck between 7 to 9 wins. I'll give them 8. I'll meet in the middle.
Yeah. So my ceiling was 8. I didn't say my floor. My floor was thinking 6. I think it's going to be tight. So it's either 6 or 8. I'd like for them to get over 500 because I do think they are going in the right direction. But also I think this is a year where Kyler Murray's got to kind of prove that he is going to be a guy to get them in the right direction. And can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to win games. He usually has the stats. He has the flashy plays. He's got to win games.
What's their cap space looking like?
Probably a lot.
I think they're set up pretty good.
Yeah, they're third right now with $35 million. They are giving Kyler already a stupid bag. I don't think they have too many players here on their team now that they have to worry about paying.
All right, let's go Seattle.
Love their offense, though.
Yeah. All right, so
Wrap it up to Seattle.
Yeah, let's move over to Seattle.
So the Seattle Seahawks, they went 9-8 last year. Had the number 11 offense and number 14 defense. Mike, tell us a little bit about their additions.
So additions that they made.
Start with the big one.
Which one's the big one for you?
The coach.
Oh, no, you're going to have to tell me about that because I forget about him all the time.
Help me out on his name. It's Washington's coach.
Ron Rivera?
From last year? No, Washington, the college, university.
Mike McDonald.
Yes, Mike McDonald.
From Washington.
Yes, he is their new
offensive coordinator.
coach.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, he is their new head coach. And I said, because I mentioned it with the Cardinals, I said I'm going to say the same thing for the Seahawks. I don't think their defense is going to be good. I think they lost a lot of pieces. Their cornerbacks are good, but they're not good anywhere else. But their offense, man, I mean, what he's done at Washington, like with, his 3 out, all of his wide receivers just doing everything. I mean, he's getting DK Metcalf.
I don't think their defense is that bad, though.
Huh?
I don't think their defense is going to be that bad, though.
Their secondary is solid. They've just been struggling in the box.
Pretty bad. Yeah, I think people are going to run all over them.
Yeah, their D-line's not going to be good. They re-signed Leonard Williams, where they traded for him last year from the Giants, who decent at best. Never made that jump that the Giants were hoping he would, and even when he moved to Seattle, never really showed too much improvement. Jerron Reed is probably their highlight. But besides that, like additions, they did pick up a couple linebackers. Jerome Baker from Miami, who I liked him. I didn't think he was great. I thought he was just a solid linebacker piece. He's going to be playing outside for him. And then Tyrell Dodson, I don't know if he's starting. He is. He's starting at Mike.
Yeah, their offensive fucking receivers look elite.
Yeah, so
that's insane. What Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Jackson Smith and Jigba.
And then you look at the running back, like, dude, Kenneth Walker is just he's one of the most explosive running backs in the league right now. As to last year, health is a problem. Health is a big problem for him.
But when healthy, I love watching him run.
Charbonnet, I mean, dude, he looked great last year as just every down, third down back. He can run in between the tackles. He can catch. I mean, he can go outside. I mean, he's awesome. I really think that we could see an insane amount of Zach Charbonnet this year.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern with this team is we already talked about like their interior defense, but they've been flirting with the playoffs for every year since Russell Wilson's been gone.
Yeah.
They made it in 22, I believe. Last year they were like a game or two short, but they were at the end of the year they were fighting for it. 21, I don't remember what they did. But my concern with this team is quarterback. Like Geno Smith has been balling with them, don't get me wrong. I mean, Geno Smith, how old is he now?
He had his best year last year
Yeah.
of his career.
Yeah.
He's 34 years old now, so it's not bad for a QB, but like he's hit his ceiling in my opinion.
He did
They
get,
do have Sam
he
Howell
did
as
get
a backup.
hurt. He did get hurt the other day at practice.
Did he?
And their coach was being very vague about it in the interview. I have not seen any follow-up questions, but when they asked him about it yesterday, he just said that they're going to get, MRIs and stuff,
Oh,
and
God.
he wouldn't say what part of his body got
Could
hurt.
we see the Sam Howell show,
redemption arc?
but with actual
dude,
fucking talent?
I hope not, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was going to say, when
What
you
if
brought
he
up Sam
balls
Howell, you're
up?
about to start up an argument with me and Matt.
but what if he goes out there and fucking slings a rock, man?
Now that he's got protection and weapons.
Yeah, that'd be insane.
He was so bad last year, man.
That could be the worst thing ever, though, for
Patrick
Geno.
Mahomes would be bad with that
I mean-
O-line.
Imagine how bad that'd be for Geno,
No.
though, if somehow he gets hurt and Sam Howell balls out. He'll never play again. He's 34, and this guy's fucking 23.
Yeah, I mean, Geno
Yeah, I mean,
Smith revived his
If
career
he
in
gets
Seattle.
hurt, it'll be tough for him in general, just because of that reason.
Yeah, like their three QBs right now is Geno, Sam Howell,
Yeah.
and then PJ Walker, who they brought back from what was it, the UFL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, he
well,
played for the Browns last year, dude.
yeah, he did. This is his second year in the NFL.
Back in the
Yep.
NFL.
What do we think?
Yep.
Ceiling? They could be a good team.
I mean, I think this is a team that flirts with
So-
the playoffs, and I think they're going to continue flirting with the playoffs.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
So let me get you the most
So-
up to date. Seattle has also an over under of 7.5, same as the Cardinals, which is wild. And the over is the favorite, minus 140.
I was going to say, I like them hitting that over. I think they're better than the Cardinals, at least all around better, have better pieces. But that quarterback room is an area of concern. What were you about to say, Matt?
nothing. It's irrelevant now. Just keep going.
We cut him off too much. I mean, ceiling?
I think
Geno
their
Smith
ceiling's
stays
9.
healthy. I was going to say maybe sneak up and do we say 9 though? I feel like if you say 9 for the Cardinals, you got to say 10, right? I mean, they're better than the
Did I say
Cardinals.
9 for the Cardinals?
their ceiling, yeah.
Yeah, for their ceiling.
10 is,
Okay.
10 is a possible playoff team.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I
I'm
told
looking at the schedule.
if their defense has a better year than I'm expecting, then I totally think that they can have 10 wins.
I mean, I'm looking at
But
their
that's
schedule
just
right
the
now,
thing
man.
with
It's
them.
not.
Like, if they had a defense, I would be talking about them like crazy. Like,
Now-
I would be thinking they could be really good. And the thing with them also is they don't have Pete Carroll anymore.
Yep.
No more Pete Carroll.
Yeah, is that going to be a
something
plus
with
or is
the-
that going to be a negative?
Well, that's something with the Seahawks, for the last.
Pete Carroll's also
I've been watching football as, an adult. Like, they have been a great defensive team, and they've been able to run the fucking rock.
Yep. Now, that's the thing,
Can't
though.
count on that this year.
As I say, that's the thing, though. If you're a defensive coach like Pete Carroll and your defense is shit, it's the fastest way to get fired.
I mean, their secondary's been great.
But
It was just that
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, and they do still. Oh, I'm sorry.
She just fall.
Just dropped something. They still do. They still do have dogs in the secondary. I'm
Yeah.
just terrified of their front.
Exactly. Yeah. The
Gotta
box
be able
is
to
an
win in the
area of
trenches.
concern.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's do this. I'm going to say 10. I'll finish my ceiling, and then we'll pass it over to you, Matt. I mean, so ceiling is 10, floor 7. And let me preface this. If Geno Smith stays healthy, I'll say floor is 8. If he gets hurt, he'll probably lose another one, goes 7. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I would have their ceiling at about 10 or 11. I'll go 10. But their floor, because of Geno Smith, I mean, and they don't have them. I mean, they could win 5 games. You know what I mean? If they
I
don't
just
have
think
a good
Sam Howell's
defense,
good
then-
enough to get the ball to the receivers to win more than 5.
Oh,
I mean,
Matt's
how-
just a
man.
certified hater of.
but how
I
I know,
I
but
don't.
Washington
I'm
won
not
4.
a hater, I just, huh?
Washington won 4. They have way
4
shittier
games?
players. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. But I'll give them 5. I'll do the 4 or 5.
He says DK Metcalf is worth one more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just think that in Geno, they're not going to have 4 wins. I don't think they'll be that bad. But like,
let's go Geno Smith healthy the entire season. What is their floor?
6.
Okay.
It can still be bad. Like I said, I do not trust their defense. I don't trust them at all. That's why I think they're a great team. Draft their players in fantasy, man.
Mike keeps playing fucking footsies at the end of the table here.
Is a recipe for fantasy success.
Yeah, I mean, for me, their floor is going to be 7 for me. But they do have a tough schedule. I mean, I've already said they played the AFC East, so that means they have to play the Bills, the Dolphins, and then the Jets. Patriots, I'm going to give them a win over. I'm not giving the Patriots any credit for wins. And then after that, they have to play the NFC North, which is the Vikings, which should be a win for them. But then you have the Packers and the Lions, and then the Bears are the mystery team to see how teams compete against them. Outside of that, though, they have the Browns. They have the Falcons.
I mean, it's just tough to just say these names because, like, we don't, we don't know what those teams are going to be when they play them.
No, I mean, I'm going to change it though. 7 the floor, 9's the ceiling.
That's a crazy. Not much wiggle room there.
No, I'm not giving them a lot of wiggle.
Hold them to it.
I think they're going to be mid-range team. They just have to
That's
fix
crazy.
that defensive
I'm
front.
harsher on them. That's crazy that I'm harsher on them than you are.
Because I think with Geno, without Geno, I think it still stays the same.
No. Oh, no. No,
All right.
5 is being pretty generous with, I'm assuming that Geno already won Sam Howell a couple games before he gets hurt,
All right, here we go. Let's lead into the last team, which is the Rams, who have only had one losing season in Sean McVay's tenure with the Rams. Could this be the second?
No.
That was one. No. Yeah, no. Well, it depends.
Pending
if
Matthew
Matt Stafford
Stafford's
gets
health.
hurt again, yeah. The old men have to stay on the field.
But
barring they do, yeah, I mean, their offense is ridiculous. They also don't have big one. They don't have Aaron Donald anymore.
Yep.
He retired.
But back on the roster, straight out of rehab, 2-time national champion quarterback Stetson Bennett is ready to play football again.
Dude, that'd be hilarious.
And he is their number 2 QB on the depth chart.
Dude, I'll gouge my eyes out.
That would be awesome. I'd love to see it.
I'd like to see sober Stetson, see how he performs. Just
He'd
one
have
game.
to get fucked up before the game.
He's not the same if he's not drunk.
So let's talk about their defense first, obviously. Their defense is going to be the weaker part of the team. So you have 2 rookies starting at left end and left outside linebacker.
Yep.
What do we think as an overall for their defense, Mike?
Jared Verse is going to be fucking amazing. He's going to be one of the top guys for Defensive Rookie of the Year bets.
I think he was one of the best. I think he was the best value in the draft.
Yeah, I mean they found him at 24 or not 24. I think he went like
19.
12.
They got him a pick before the Steelers. Yes.
Yes, 19th. He's correct.
Every freaking year there is a defensive lineman that I absolutely love that falls, and they always go right before the Steelers, man. Javon Carter last year, Durst, the other Georgia guy. Did I say it wrong?
I think you fucked his first name up.
I was paying attention.
Is it
Carter
not
from
Javon?
Georgia.
Oh, it's not Javon.
Yeah, it's
Jerome.
Jerome.
Oh,
No.
my bad.
Is
No,
it?
it's not Jerome.
Yeah, it's a J name.
I'm pretty sure it's Jerome
And,
Carter.
Who's the other one? I'm forgetting his name.
Jalen Carter is
Oh,
one.
you're right.
And what, are you talking about the other Georgia guy that went to the Eagles?
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about Big Boy.
Why am I blanking?
Big motherfucker.
Got him on Madden every franchise.
What is his fucking name? It's similar to Jalen Carter. I think he's in our J name.
Jordan?
Yes, it's something Jordan.
So I was right about the J name.
Dude, we should know this.
Yeah,
I know.
honestly, this
He's
is
a
bad.
dog.
This is not good.
We've been too far away from football. Names are hard.
Yeah. There's a lot of fucking names to remember, okay? Mike and I are also over here pounding down some vodka, so that probably doesn't help. Jordan Davis.
J-name.
Yeah.
He said Jordan, and it was fucking me up because I was thinking of the last name, and I'm like, huh.
I told you, it was close to Jalen Carter. Instead of JC, it's JD. Fuck y'all.
But they also have,
Anyways. Burst is a monster.
And he's playing next to his teammate.
Yep.
On the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean...
But who cares about that side of the ball, though? That side of the ball is pretty
defense.
Well, I think this is the key for them to reach a high ceiling, is to play well on defense.
Yeah, I mean, they did pick up a new safety that'll help him out. Cameron Crowe from Washington was one of the few highlights on Washington. He's not insane, but he's significantly above average. So he'll be starting there. And then O-line, they got Jonah Jackson, who's been good the last couple of years. Nothing more than that, just good. And then Kevin Dotson, who I thought is one of the better guards. Who did he play for last year?
It's the Ragin' Cajuns, and he got drafted in 22.
Professional team. Where'd he come from?
Yeah, I'm trying to look down the line.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was talking out loud for the first part. This is his first year with them?
Yeah, first year with the Rams. I want to say...
Has he not always been with the Rams?
Washington.
NFL. Matt, you continue. Oh, he played for Pittsburgh. The Steelers drafted him.
Who was it? I'm sorry.
It's Kevin Dotson. He got drafted by the Steelers the fourth round.
I'm sorry. I did not hear you say the player. I was trying to do something real quick. Yeah. I totally could have told you that. I'm so sorry.
Like, just click on their name.
That's fair. I didn't know that.
Kevin Dotson, yeah.
Was he good then? He's not the guy I was thinking of.
He was thrown in. I loved it when we drafted him. We drafted him in the Chase Claypool draft, the COVID draft, and I was so in love with that guy. But I mean, our line just sucked in general, and he got thrown in spots he shouldn't have been in, and it made him look bad, and he got blamed for stuff, and he just went to the Rams and just ate.
Okay. Well, I mean, he didn't eat yet.
He is awesome.
This is his first year with the
Rams.
Rams.
He was really good last year.
No, he played for the Rams last year.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he played for him last year. Yeah, and he was awesome.
Okay.
That's why they resigned him. Very good.
Yeah, you can see the jump off. If you click on him,
mm-hmm.
He's 20 points better is what they had him ranked. He was 30th when he left the Steelers, and he was second last year in the NFL.
I mean, that's just the Matt Canada effect. Don't blame it on Kevin.
It all goes back to Matt Canada.
It was just Matt. And yes, you're going to see this year, dude. You're going to see.
Yeah, I think an area of concern for this team, like one of my big concerns is the wide receiver core. Because like we know Puka's good, right?
What?
No, listen me out.
What?
Hear me out. Right?
So their receiver?
DeMarcus Robinson. Don't love the dude.
What?
Never loved DeMarcus Robinson. Never did.
Oh,
right?
my God.
He's fast. That's it. He's good for being fast.
He makes fast people look not so fast.
Really good in the end zone.
Outside of him, like Puka last year, crazy breakout for his rookie year, broke records, but at the end of the day, he was a rookie. Going into year two with him, one of my big concerns is like everyone's super hype about him, but the thing with Puka is he's a smart player. He's not a physically gifted player. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. He's not the high point ball guy, but he's excelled at finding gaps in zones. I feel like he's a guy that when he's under man coverage, he has less production because his specialty is finding the gap in the zone. And then going to Cooper Kupp's old as fuck. He hit his prime super late in his career and had the greatest wide receiver season ever in that prime. But he's been facing a lot of injury battles since then. So, like, receiving core, unless Puka can continue to be a fucking savage, I don't like it. So that's my area of concern.
Okay, can I go?
Yeah,
can I
go?
Of
course.
Okay, so I think everything Mike just said, I think the absolute opposite of that. I think that they actually probably have a top 5 wide receiver core in the league. Demarcus Robinson is very fucking good in the end zone. He was awesome last year. I'm trying to pull up some stats right now, but he was amazing. He was very reliable, very good last year at the end of the year. And Puka, bro, you're a hater, dude.
It's not I'm hating on him. I just need to see more than one season before I give a player their flowers.
He isn't physically gifted is crazy. I've been seeing off videos of him in the off season doing some wild stuff. And basketball on the field, just doing flips and stuff. He has crazy athletic ability. And for Cooper Kupp, I mean, he was hurt last season. Him, the coaches have said it that, like, yeah, like, he was for sure banged up, and, like, he's gotten right this offseason. Like, it's the Cooper Kupp that we know.
Yeah, well, that's just my concern with Cooper is his age. And it wasn't just last year with injuries, though. Like, last 2-3 years, he's been having, like, random flare-ups. So I'm just concerned with his age that he's going to start getting hurt more and more and more, which is normal.
Yeah.
So health-wise, I'm worried about Kupp.
Because Matthew Stafford used him like I used Drayden Dickman on NC.
Yeah,
like,
that's wild.
He doesn't have to do that this year. Like, he has, like, at the beginning of the year, when Cooper Kupp wasn't there, Puka was targeted like crazy. His first game, he had like 12 receptions or something like that. I'd have to look up to see exactly what it was, but it was a lot. Like, I literally remember watching a game at the beginning of the year.
I think he had like 17 in like week 1 or week 2. He
didn't want the ball anymore because he was so tired of just getting the ball every play. Yeah. Like, got Matt Stafford is so, like, he's so good with certain receivers like that, and now he's got 2 of them. Like, dude,
my only concern
I think it's going to be ridiculous.
Kupp's health, Stafford's health, Robinson just not being a good wide receiver. He's just a deep threat. And I just want to see Puka continue to do what he did before I give him flowers. That's it. Just want to make sure before we jump on a guy a little too early.
A little too early? He set, like, every rookie record. It's like
sophomore slumps are a thing.
You weren't talking about Justin Jefferson after he went crazy at the end of his first year. Like, well, I guarantee.
Yeah, first off, you will never see me anywhere talking about Justin Jefferson being the greatest after year 1.
Let's just calm down and let's see what Odell does after this. No, you were probably sucking his cock like crazy.
First off, I was 14 years old. You leave me the fuck alone. I loved Odell. Until he started doing the weird shit.
For Kadarius Toney after he had
I like the upside of it, and I like the upside of Nakua. I'm just not giving him his flowers yet.
Keenan Allen for him.
Yeah, because I thought Keenan Allen was old and going to have an injury-prone year, and guess what? He got hurt week 1 and didn't come back till week 15. It just sucks because Toney faked an injury, went to the Chiefs for like the last half of the season, and he made a good play in the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden people were on him again. And now people are down on him because he fucking sucks.
So let me ask you this.
I don't know why we're comparing it. I don't think him and Kadarius Toney.
No, I don't. But Matt has to make a point. He loves bringing up the Kadarius Toney, Keenan Allen thing up.
No, I'm just saying, like you're saying we got to wait and see. Like, dude, like seriously, you traded a very huge asset for a guy who didn't have anything, but you're telling me I have to like wait and see what Puka did. But I have a better one. So Marvin Harrison, if he does what Puka did last year, if he goes just
Mike will be on his knees.
If he has 1,300 yards.
Mike will be on his knees.
What do he have? 8 or 9 touchdowns?
I'll pull it up.
Something like that.
What, Puka?
Huh? No, Marvin.
Oh, in college? I don't know.
No. I'm saying this year. Okay, this year, if Marvin has 110 receptions for 1,500 yards and 7 touchdowns, are you going to be telling me that, well, let's just calm down a beat and let's wait and see what he does? Are you telling me you're going to be telling me that going into next year?
No, so there's a difference to me between the two talents. Like my concern with someone like Puka
is he wasn't a highly touted
So just
prospect,
because we didn't
right?
know about him,
No, let me finish. Let me finish.
keep
It's an area
waiting
of
and
concern
seeing.
because a lot of players will have 1-year things. I'm not saying he's going to. I'm not at all. I remember there was a conversation we had in the group chat where people were having him in their top 5 receivers in the fucking league. And that's insane to me.
I mean,
Over
He
one
was a
season,
top
because it
7
is
guy
possible
last year.
he goes down. He had such a great first year. He could go down.
yeah, I mean,
And that's not me saying he's going to be out of the league in 3
statistically,
years.
yes.
That's not me saying he's going to be a Kadarius Toney bum. But he could fall down over the hype and just have a decline year because he isn't the most physically gifted athlete, but he is smart and he's consistent.
Say that. I don't get why you say that.
Puka Nacua?
But
Yes.
but opportunity wise, he could go down because Cooper Kupp's going to be there all season.
All right, so Puka Nacua
But, like,
stats, 105 catches, almost 1,500 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
No, he had a great year. And I'm not
ridiculous.
saying he didn't.
That's
He had a great
ridiculous.
rookie year. He set all kinds of fucking rookies.
No, he didn't have a great rookie season. He had the best rookie
I just
season.
said he set all kinds of rookie records. Yeah. My
Yeah.
concern with him is he was a late round draft pick. He's going into year 2. There was a reason why he was a late round pick because he was on people's radar.
The
And it's
car's
because
off the lot,
physically
man.
he's
The
not
car's off the lot.
he's not a jump ball guy. He's not a super fast burner. He's not super strong. He's very smart.
It doesn't matter where someone got drafted.
I
It matters what they're
understand
doing now.
that.
He got his
but
foot in the door. It doesn't matter anymore.
I understand that, but I'm not going to say a dude's top 5 in the league after 1 year.
All right, let's move on. Floor
I mean,
and
I didn't
ceilings.
say
Or
that.
we could probably argue
You're
about
just
this
pulling
forever.
from a conversation
Personally, I think
other
it does
people had before.
affect that he played for BYU and now he's on with a quarterback who can throw the fucking ball. But that being said, ceiling.
Did we go over what their lines were?
Yeah, it's 8.5.
8.5?
Vegas favorites the over. However, the experts are saying to lean that and take the under. There's a lot of people that are worried about them having a new DC and losing Aaron Donald.
I mean, they didn't have Aaron Donald last year, did they?
Yeah.
Aaron Donald
No,
retired.
he was there last year.
He was last
Yeah,
year?
he retired.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought he retired.
So they lost their
retired this
DC
year.
too.
Yep.
Personally, I'm not as worried. I think the offense is good enough to get over the 8.5 win mark. I kind of like them over 8.5 win. I do have their ceiling at 10 because the defense does worry me a little bit, but I'll go floor 7. Not even. I'm going to say 8. What do you think?
Their defense doesn't concern me too much because I think they did find a couple of absolute gems to replace the gap that Aaron Donald did fill.
Yeah, I'm not worried about their
And
DM.
it's not going to be a 1-to-1 match. Like Aaron Donald was a generational player, but
I'm more worried about scheme. Like, what is their defensive scheme?
I don't know
gonna be?
enough about their coordinator, so I'd have to see more about that. And I think the only concern for this team is health on the offense when it comes to Stafford and it comes to
Well, let's just say
Cup.
it.
So
Yeah.
if they're healthy,
Hey,
I have their ceiling
Hold on.
at 11 wins.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. When we're making these floor and ceilings, it is healthy.
Yeah, I just want to
Okay.
put that out there. Like that's my area of concern.
Before we move on, we just haven't mentioned how fucking good
Kyren Williams.
is. So I just want to
Fucking
throw that out there,
animal.
that Kyren Williams is fucking awesome. And they drafted Blake Corum.
Fuck
who-
Blake Corum. He better not steal
I-
any of
I-
Kyron's fucking reps.
I mean, I'm
Well, I'm
a
sure
Buckeye
he's gonna
fan,
play some.
and I think Corum is awesome. I think he's going to be great with Sean McVay.
Yeah, they're gonna run the fuck out of the ball.
Shit,
Play action's
Kyron
gonna be
Williams
nasty.
and Blake Corum are the same age. They're
Yeah.
both 23.
They're going to be very. I think
That's
they're
a two-back
I think
punch
they're gonna be-
there.
I don't think he's going to steal that much from him early, but
Yeah,
when he gets his work, he's going to be good. But go ahead with your with the rankings.
So yeah, my ceiling, I have them at, I think I said 11.
Yeah, I said 10 and 8.
Yeah, I'd say 11. And again, this is with them being healthy. 9 wins is their floor. I'll go one more than you in both.
Well, Matt hasn't said anything yet, has he?
Not yet.
Nope.
Okay, Matt, that's your
Honestly, I think,
time to go.
I think them and the other two, the Cardinals and the Seahawks. I mean, they're all projected to be around the same to me. I think they all have
They're all one apart.
awesome,
Yeah.
high-powered offenses, but I don't trust any of their defenses.
I think the Rams are on a different planet for the high-powered offense compared to the other two, though. Like I think the Rams are the best offense.
They are.
Because they have Stafford, who is a top 10 quarterback all time.
Yeah.
And they're going to be able to run the fucking ball.
Yeah, that's why I was going to make them 10-7.
Okay. So we need to
10 wins.
we need to move on to the next division.
Division rankings, I have
So-
Niners, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. Do we all agree?
I would switch
Yeah.
the Cardinals and Seahawks.
No, I got the same as you, Mike. I think Seahawks, if, this is all barring no injuries, is better.
Yeah.
So let's move on, but I'm going to say one crazy stat real quick. I was on Twitter yesterday, and ESPN
Dangerous.
probably trying to piss everybody off, but they put out a top 80 quarterbacks since 2000 in college football. Did you know that Matthew Stafford was not on that list?
I don't know what Matthew Stafford did in college.
Dude,
That was
before
pre
Stetson
me watching
Bennett,
college.
since 2000, hands down best quarterback they had. Hands down.
mean-
He just didn't win a national championship for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, college rankings, like for that, like for quarter, like that's just really hard because there's so many of them.
Let's put it this
There
way.
have
They had Baker one.
so many good quarterbacks.
First off,
for
Baker
big
was
school,
insane
small
in
But he's
school.
not better than Burrow. He was not better than Cam Newton. He was
Burrow's
not
one
better than
year
Tim Tebow.
was the greatest year
Baker
for a
was
quarterback,
nuts,
but
man.
Burrow wasn't. Or I mean, Baker was nuts though.
He was nuts,
He
but
got
he's not better
drafted
than those
number
guys.
One, dude. He was a dog.
I'd
Because,
put Burrow ahead of him. I'd put
He came
Tebow
into
ahead of
Cam
him.
Newton.
whooped our
Cam,
ass,
you have to.
dude.
People
I'll never
forget
forget
Cam.
that.
Cam Newton had no players on his team. There's not another single NFL player on their offense.
I know.
So just imagine how they went undefeated.
Yeah.
Because Homeboy was just fucking running around in circles. Trust me, I watched it. If he didn't play good,
I just
You're
didn't. I didn't watch a lot of college ball during that time.
all right, let's move on. I just thought that was interesting. I was like, this guy's got to be in the top 80. I mean, come on. We're talking about the second best quarterback since 2000 for Georgia.
That was just before my time of watching, so I can't digress.
Okay, so what are we going?
Washington.
NFC East, Washington. All right, so Washington went 4-13 last year with the Sam Howell himself. What do we think?
Watch your fucking mouth.
Major upgrade.
Leave Sam
major
Howell
upgrade.
out of your fucking mouth.
Hey, they have him.
Dude, he was poop, man.
They don't even have him as a notable loss, which is hilarious.
Yeah, because it's not.
They have Jacoby Brissett, though. That's a notable move on.
That is a huge loss. Jacoby Brissett is one of the best backups in the league. Probably the best. He could totally Nick Foles that shit on the right team.
All right. Well, Mike, talk about their additions because they have a lot of good ones.
No, I disagree.
What?
So losses, they lost Antonio Gibson, lost Cody Barton. These are all starters. Curtis Samuel, Cam Curl, Kendall Fuller, all starters on their team, all gone. Now they decided to replace running back with Austin Eckler. So he's going to be splitting snaps with Brian.
That's going to be a good duo, Mike.
And
You didn't watch Austin Eckler last year.
Cliff Kingsbury is now the offensive coordinator,
Correct.
by the way.
I don't know. You don't think that's going to work well, the run game with Jaden
Unless
Daniels?
Austin Eckler healed from whatever was bothering him last year. Austin Eckler was fucking terrible.
They have him as the starting running back.
I mean,
It is. People at camp have been saying he looks pretty good. Looks pretty healthy.
yeah, if he
Like,
makes a
running
comeback,
wide.
solid
They could be
game.
good.
But if
like
he
if they're
looks
just getting
anything like
Austin
he did
Eckler-
last year in LA, fuck him. Like Brian
At
Thompson,
the end of the year, he looked good at first.
for like 5 weeks.
You wouldn't say
Yeah,
their pickup at
before he
Packers
got
big,
hurt.
though?
Bobby Wagner?
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner's 35.
You don't think he has one season for him?
Brother, he had his
No.
last season. That was last year in
He's
Seattle. He's old. He's washed.
He's old, man.
That was
he's
my
just
thing
a
with
good
him.
vet.
When we were talking about off-season stuff, maybe like back in June or May, what Washington did is they found players to fill all the gaps of positions they need. But they're the fucking retirement home. Austin Eckler is reaching the end of his year, 29 years old, just came off the worst year of his career. Hopefully he gets better. Good chance he doesn't.
Hey, man.
Bobby Wagner.
Still
in a
draft him in
committee, though.
fantasy.
He is in a committee. Yeah.
Yeah, and
But if he's the
and
premier
that's
guy
why
and he doesn't move better than he did last season,
But also,
concern.
wasn't it a terrible situation at the Chargers? Like, you don't think that has anything to do with it?
What situation with the Chargers?
Wasn't that where Eckler came from?
Yeah. What
don't-
situation are you talking about?
I mean,
Like, the whole
they
fucking
were
thing,
not
Mike.
good
They're
at the
literally a
end of the
shitty
year.
team.
Daily.
Yeah, their defense sucked.
Yeah.
You don't think,
No,
though,
I
when you
mean,
get
it was
behind...
falling apart.
Yeah, you don't
Everyone
think when
knew
you get
Staley
behind,
was
though, you got to
gonna
throw
be
the ball a
out
lot.
there. Yeah.
And that's where he excelled at.
I don't know.
But,
I don't
but
think
the
he's that
thing
bad off.
is Brian Robinson is really good.
Thank you. I keep wanting to say Brian Thomas for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, Brian Robinson Jr. is really good. So, like, he can, I mean, a committee between them, you know, he doesn't have to be prime Austin Eckler, but if he's 80% Austin Eckler, like, that's with
Yeah, but-
Brian Robinson, that's good.
Yeah, no, I agree
Especially
there.
with Daniels,
That's just
that's
not what
good.
we saw at the end of last season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we did not see 80%
and that's like what
Austin
they're
Eckler. We
paying
saw
for,
like
too, you know?
20% Austin Eckler.
Yeah, agreed.
But
Agreed.
past him, like 30-year-old running back Austin Eckler, 34-year-old Bobby Wagner, who should have retired last year with the Seahawks when he came back.
Bring him the bag.
Then you got
Yeah, I
Cleveland
don't think-
Farrell, who I'm not huge on, but that's fine. But they tried to address their O-line. And
Yeah, they have a
with
rookie
that,
left tackle.
they got Cornelius Lucas, who's 34 and wasn't good. What's not on PFF for whatever reason is Tyron Smith from the Cowboys, who is like 39 years old, used to be the best tackle in football when I was in middle school.
First off, it's scary as fuck to start a rookie quarterback with a rookie left tackle. Isn't Jaden Daniels right-handed?
Yeah.
So that's going to be his blind side?
Mhm.
God, that's fucking scary. Third-round pick starting at left tackle.
On what I'm looking at, they have him as number 2. They
Really?
have Lucas Cornelius as starter on left. Brandon Coleman's who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have him at number 2 on what I'm looking at.
Yeah, on here they have him one.
But, I mean, this team, they tried to address the O-line, but, like, the average age of the O-lineman they picked up was, like, 35, past their prime, or just not good in general. They're still going to have, in my opinion, the worst O-line in the country.
That's hard to say with the Giants.
Even worse than the Giants.
I mean, the Giants picked up 6 new guys, and we'll talk about them here in a minute. But even
Can't wait.
last year, with Evan Neal starting and Andrew Thomas out for 8 weeks, we were still better than them in a week-by-week standpoint. So,
I don't know. They also, Jaden Daniels, just going to avoid some sacks compared to your guy, but we'll get to that.
if you have a second and a half to fucking snap the ball and look at your offense, you're not going to be able to run
All right,
away.
so let's move on with this team, right? So there's
They're
not
bad.
a lot happening here.
They're bad. They play in a tough division
think
of
they're
football when
bad.
it comes to pass rush.
Yeah, I want to say they're bad.
They're not great.
I mean, they could be. No, I'd probably say they're bad. You're
They're
right.
bad. They're going to be picking in the
Yeah,
top
but
5 next year.
But Jaden Daniels is so cool. He's gonna be so good, dude.
They're going to picking in the top 5 next year. If we just want to fast forward through it, they have to play the NFC East, which is one of the best divisions when it comes to pass rush. Then they got to play the AFC North as well, which is one of the best divisions when it comes to pass rush. Their offensive line is going to be 31 or 32. They're not going to be able to protect their quarterback. They're not going to be able to get an offense going. Other teams are going to start on their side of the field way too often. Their defense isn't good enough to stop anyone. Their ceiling, 5 wins.
So their over-under is 6.5.
Yeah, I'm taking their under.
Damn. You said ceiling is 5?
Yeah,
I would say 6.
because they have to play
I'm gonna say
Cowboys
7.
twice, Eagles twice, Giants twice. They might not win a divisional game this year with how
Nah.
bad that O-line is. Then you still have to play the Steelers with TJ Watt and fucking Hargrave or Harton, whatever that other dude's name is.
Who's their backup now?
Backup, what, QB?
Yeah. Sorry.
Marcus Mariota. And then Sam Hartman.
Ew.
The goat.
But
I
there's
mean, I would probably say their ceiling's like 6. I mean, therefore, they could be the worst team for sure.
Yeah, floor. I'll put them at like 3. They have one of the hardest schedules.
They're projected to
Marcus
win
Mariota's
7.
playing. They could for sure be the worst team in the league.
Yes, they're projected to win 7, but they're over under 6.5.
No, I'm going to tell you they're going to be picking 3rd next year in the NFL draft with their pick.
Okay, so yeah,
Probably.
I said 6 and floor 4 match last year.
3 and 5.
I would say 6 and honestly, I'll say 6 and 2. I think it could be bad,
Okay,
but I think their offense is going to be fun. Like I think we could see some improvement there.
I will say their bailout for their schedule is
hold.
they do play both the Patriots and the Panthers.
Yeah, they also got the Giants twice.
I was about to say, let's get into the second shittiest team in the East. Let's
The
go to
Commanders
Giants.
have beaten the Giants once in the last 5 years.
Okay, so we're going to the Giants.
I don't care.
They were 6-11 last year, which actually seems pretty good compared to how they started off being dog shit.
Well, towards the end of the season, the Giants were actually fighting for a playoff spot. The last
that
4
just
games.
baffles me. Is the East that bad?
The NFC
What?
in general was, but so after Daniel Jones went down, there were 4 games at the end that came to like 3 points or less, and it came down to a 10 seconds left in the game against the Bills, a 5-yard pass to Darren Waller where there was no PI call.
Oh, here we fucking go.
No, I mean,
man.
like-
here we go. It's just like, no fumble. No fumble. Miami shouldn't have
No,
lost.
I mean, watch it. There was no PI call. The linebacker was like holding him down before he could even get to the end zone. And when he went up to pass, the dude was still tackling him. Missed field goal against the Jets. And
All right.
then there was a made field goal. But
All right.
anyway, we lost all 4 of those games. Those three of those 4 games, if we won it, which came down to the last drive.
Okay, I'm done
Giants
playing.
would have been in the playoffs.
Okay, let's stop playing the what if game here. They were the
No,
31st
but let me-
ranked
how
offense.
about-
Yeah.
Let me
If
talk
you
about the
won 4
motherfucking
games, then yeah,
teams, you
would've been in the
retards.
playoffs.
All right, like
31st ranked offense, 27th ranked defense. They're pretty bad and everywhere.
Yes.
So let's go and talk about their additions, and I'll let you run with it, Mike. It's your team.
Yeah, so defensively, area of concern right now is that cornerback 2 spot, but in general, the secondary. Secondary, we are starting a rookie for safety, 3rd-year free safety, a 2nd-year Deontay Banks as corner 1, who is great in coverage, struggles making plays on the ball. That's one thing he needs to work on coming into this next year. But cornerback 2 is the real area of concern. We don't know who it's going to be yet. It's either going to be like Cordell Flott. A lot of people are hoping it's going to be, I think it's Nick McLeod. And then we drafted Andrew Phillips, I want to say his name is.
You guys talked about losing Xavier McKinney, right?
I haven't talked about him yet.
Okay.
But Andrew Phillips, the guy we drafted in the 3rd round, he's supposed to play nickel. So secondary in general is just super young, super area of concern. The box is, I think, one of the better units in the NFL when it comes to the front 7. Between Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau at edge rusher, Dexter Lawrence, who was all-pro, I believe, the last 2 years. Middle linebackers and Micah McFadden and Bobby Okereke were combined. They never missed a snap, and they were one of the best middle linebacker cores in the country last year. But yeah, defense I'm not concerned about. Secondary, just very young. We'll have to see how they do. Notable losses, we lost Saquon, which everyone was harping about, which I'm okay with. Not a premier position. I don't want to pay a running back $18 million to play for a losing team. I'd rather use that money and find areas of concern elsewhere and get a cheap running back that can actually play.
I agree.
So,
I think
hurts.
it could help you guys in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. I love Saquon, but we could use that money elsewhere better. Same with Xavier McKinney. Loved him. Thought he was good. We can't afford to pay a safety when we can find a cheap option that can do similar talent. Offensive line is the big area of concern. We were 31st out of 32 teams last year with Andrew Thomas missing 8 games. Our starting center was a rookie. He played good, but he was also hurt. I think he missed 4 or 5 games. And then in general, the entire offensive line was bad or hurt. Evan Neal has been one of the biggest busts in NFL history so far. And we fixed the problem with him, being that he shouldn't be starting anymore, and we have found replacements for everyone. So instead of signing dudes off the couch or off of practice squads of other teams, we picked up John Runyon from the Packers, who's been one of the better guards in the last 3 years. And then we picked up a Luminor and a guard we signed yesterday, both off the Raiders. And they were both top 15. The guard was top 10 last season. I'm struggling on the guard's name. It was like Van
Rotten?
I don't think it was Rotten. Was it Rotten?
Are
you looking at it?
Yeah. Van Rotten plays right guard.
Or something like that?
What are you asking?
The Giants guard.
Yeah, he's Van Rotten.
Van Rotten, okay. So both of them played for the Raiders, and they were both top 15. Van Rotten was top 10 last year in blocking. And then we also fired the he was seventh?
Seventh.
Oh, even better. Then we signed
for the
Raiders offensive line coach and fired the bum that we've had for the last 6 years that can't develop anything. And Andrew Thomas is a miracle.
Obviously can't evaluate talent either.
Well, Andrew Thomas was the one diamond in the rough that he's been able to help out and
what
find.
About getting Evan Neal?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Evan Neal wasn't necessarily just a him thing. Like, development-wise, 100% putting blame on him. But he was the number one tackle in that class. Like, everyone was high on Evan Neal.
I remember. Played for Alabama.
Yeah. So, I don't know what happened with development. But right now, we put Evan Neal down to the bench. He's probably going to get some playing time. And if he doesn't show any signs of improvement because he was a early first-round pick, we're going to just trade him off for like a 5th or 6th round if possible. So I'm not concerned there. In the draft, we picked up Malik Neighbors, which was a heavy need because can you guys name me one wide receiver that's worth a damn on the Giants since Odell Beckham?
Quick
answer. No.
My boy.
Darius Slayton's not worth a damn.
My boy.
Dude, Kadarius
From
Toney, dude.
Auburn.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney was a fucking fraud, and Darius Slayton,
Deep threat.
great deep threat. Love him on the team. Love him as a player. Not a number one receiver.
Definitely not.
No, I love Malik Neighbors, dude.
Yeah.
He is going to be so good.
The more and more I watch Malik Neighbors tape, like I'm hype.
He's so good.
I haven't been this excited.
He's really good.
He reminds me a lot of Justin Jefferson, to be honest.
Yeah, between Justin Jefferson and Odell Beckham, just clips I'm watching and how it is in camp with him too. Like, dude, it takes me back to 2014.
Well, I don't know, when you watch, so obviously all we can go off for Neighbors is college.
Yeah.
Watching Odell Beckham when he played for LSU compared to Neighbors, I don't know if it's because maybe the offense has evolved since obviously Odell Beckham was there and they were really run heavy with Leonard Fournette, I think was on the team. Yeah. But Neighbors seemed to be like the guy. Like Odell Beckham had some catchy plays at LSU, but Neighbors was like a fucking dog. You couldn't cover him.
I'd say the biggest difference between the two is the route running. Like Odell Beckham was a good route runner.
Neighbors
might be one of the best route runners I've ever seen.
Easily. And come on now.
On
I love
every
Neighbors.
single route I've seen him run in camp and in college, the dude's getting separation. Like insane separation by 3 steps.
It looks easy, yeah.
Can he continue that separation, though? And that would, if he could, if we're going to talk about theoretical here, if he can keep getting separation and maybe force the defense to have to bracket him, maybe that opens up a Slayton for a deep threat. Helps out your quarterback a little bit. Yeah. I do think that you guys got to get a run game going because last year, in my opinion, like you look at the grades of your defense and they're horrible.
We were forced to.
But I also think your defense played terrible because your offense was constantly giving the other team a short field.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the stats for the defense, when the other team had to play full field and go across the entire field, they played insane. Yeah. But like the issue was the other team's offense would get the ball in our red zone.
Like, I'm shocked that Thibodeau is the 89th TN. That is fucking crazy.
So Tibbs, his numbers are inflated. He's not the greatest pass rusher. He showed signs of improvement. I think he got 10 sacks last year, but it's like after his first move, he kind of forgets what to do. He kind of struggles. He's good in the run game, but in the pass rush, we need to see a bit more. He got the sack numbers, but those sack numbers don't reflect how good or bad of a pass rusher he is.
If we're just talking about playing as an offensive lineman, what I played, I'm also curious to see if having Lawrence shaded on his side is going to give Thibodeau more one-on-one opportunity, and he's going to play better this year.
So that was going to be the big thing now with us adding Brian Burns, who's one of the better pass rushers in the league, and young talent, fast, strong. He's good. Dexter Lawrence is already bona fide one of the better D tackles in the league. So between those three guys, you can't double everyone. So I am excited to see what the pass rush does for it, because now it's spreading it out. Before, Dexter Lawrence would get double-teamed every single play, and Kayvon put a tight end on there to help the tackle, and he's kind of done.
So I think pass rush would go a long way with this team to free up some of these corners.
Yeah. Our linebacking core in general, I love. Who do you have the depth chart pulled up?
Yeah.
So Okiriki or
I was about to say,
Okereke.
don't ask me to fuck it. I'm going to say Bobby.
Okereke. I like calling him Okiriki.
And you have McFadden.
Okay.
Micah
I was
McFadden.
curious if they still had McFadden as the other starter. McFadden was I think he was like a 6th-round draft pick 2 years ago.
5th round from Indiana.
Yeah. And last year he earned his way into the starting job because we didn't have a lot of depth. And, dude, he fucking balled out and never got appreciation for it. But he was fantastic. So, I love the
just to put it
linebacking
in
core. I love the
perspective.
box.
Just to put it in perspective, he went from 77th linebacker to 45th in
Yeah.
1 year.
So, defensively, I'm happy. We're a cornerback 2 away, I think, from having a very good young core. Because I don't think a single one of them are over 30.
So let's talk about it. Floor and ceiling.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to get to the elephant in the room, and that's Daniel Jones.
We're going to talk about it when we get to floor and ceiling, because
Yeah.
this, I think, is going to go to it. I'll start off to let you rebuttal. Personally, I feel bad for Daniel Jones. I don't think he's that bad. I think that he was in a terrible situation, but as you see in football, the easiest guy to blame is the quarterback, the guy who gets all the fucking, when he's doing good, he's the high guy. He's the man. But when everything's going wrong, it's all his fault. People don't look and go, oh, you have a bad O-line. They go, oh, your quarterback sucks dick. So, personally, I hate to say it, but I think this is his last year as the Giants starting quarterback. That being said, if I'm going to go on and say that this is his last year, I think your ceiling is 8 wins. I would think that only adding Neighbors is not going to change much. I do think the offensive line rebuild is going to help. And I'm hoping to see the guy we saw in 22 when he has more time to throw the ball. And he wasn't asked to
necessarily
do
more time to
much.
throw out. It was a scheme we ran. Short yardage and rollouts to force him to make quick throws.
Yeah, but I think though, even with having some of these threats, so with Neighbors on the outside, I just think he's going to have a better time. But I don't think it's enough for him to keep the job going forward. And we've already talked about it. I know offline. I think this quarterback class coming up is going to be pretty decent, and I think they're going to pick somebody up.
Yeah, so, whether we do good or bad this year, I don't care. I think we set up a team that is
Got to do better than last year.
So here's my thing. Whether we keep Jones or not is what I'm saying. I don't care. If he does good and we keep him, cool. Like, we have an average quarterback because, like you were saying, I think he's overhated, but I do not think he's underappreciated. He hasn't done anything yet to prove that he's good, but he has been given the worst hand that I've seen for a quarterback in a long time.
He's also gotten
He's
fucked,
on his
though.
third head coach. This is the first time he's ever had a head coach enter year 3. He's had the worst O-line his entire career. And
I was going to say, though,
he's
before you
never
even
had a
go
wide
on with
receiver
that,
1.
I think he also got a little fucked by the media. The media pumped him up so much after 22 that I think that it's unreal expectations. Didn't he get a big contract extension?
Well, the reason why the media pumped him up is because 22 saved his job.
Yeah.
We would have drafted a quarterback after 22 if we as a team didn't do what we did, and that was claw our way to the playoffs and win a playoff game.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, which is kind of insane. It's cool to watch.
Made me very happy. But after last year's disaster, this is Daniel Jones' make it or break it year. If he performs badly,
You do have
we
Horsecock
cut
on the
him.
bench.
If he performs badly, we cut him. After this season, everyone wants to freak out about his contract, but no one wants to talk about how his contract's like 15th out of 32 now at starting quarterbacks.
Well, that's just because they're starting to adopt the fucking MLB, And we can get into that debate
the
after this.
The quarterback market recently surged. But so right now, his contract is not insane. What did hurt was his cap hit. And after this season, his cap hit is minimum. I think it's like $9 million. So after this season, if he performs badly, we cut him, take the small hit, go in the draft. If he does good, then cool. He remains our starter because we realize that with a actual weapon, hopefully with the development of Jalen Hyatt, with Brian Dable officially taking over play calling instead of Mike Kafka, because the only other time he did was in the second half against the Cardinals when we scored 33 points and won the game.
That was embarrassing, the first half.
Yeah, he took Mike Kafka out of play calling, and Brian Dable took it over.
That's my point.
And we forced the ball downfield, which is something that we've never really been able to do.
But that's my point. That is a perfect example to my point what I was talking about earlier. If you could look how better the defense looked in the second half, it's because you're making the other team drive the full field.
Exactly, which is why I don't hate our defense. I hated our offense. Our offense, we're putting an emphasis on trying to force the ball downfield more. We have the speed to do it. Out of 32 teams, when it comes to just speed for the wide receivers, we are number one because Malik Neighbors is fast as fuck. Jalen Hyatt is fast as fuck.
Mike, the Dolphins, definitely the fastest.
They're number 3 receiver. Or, sorry, you're right. We're number 2 behind the Dolphins with Jalen Hyatt, Malik Neighbors, and then either Darius Slayton or Wan'Dale Robinson.
He's sneaky fast because he has long strides.
But then we have Wan'Dale Robinson as well, who started to have a breakout in 22 until he tore his ACL his rookie year.
Let's see it.
Ceiling, everything goes right. Daniel Jones keeps his job. Defense plays good.
See,
9 wins.
I don't think there's any way he keeps his job because the media has him as the fucking
only way for him to keep his job is if we have a winning record in the division, and I think we win 2 games against the AFC North.
You think that's all it takes for him to keep his job?
If he has 9 wins and
I think they have to make the playoffs for him to.
Not even that. I don't think it's team success. I think it's individual success of turnover ratio and how he is able to move the ball. It's going to be specifically eye test and see if our offense is moving and we're putting up points, he's keeping his job. Because we're not wasting a pick to draft a new quarterback if our offense now is working now that we finally gave him something.
I'd like to see you get another receiver. But
So we'll have to see how Jalen Hyatt develops now that he's going to get actual role. We're going to see how Wan'Dale does with a full healthy season. And Darius Slayton, especially going more into a pass first instead of hoping Saquon bails us out.
I don't know. It's a shitty situation because personally, in a perfect world, you'd like to see the Giants pick up a free agent quarterback and then draft a young quarterback and let him kind of learn. Because I'm scared, as watching you, making me watch the Giants. I'm scared to death for them to draft a quarterback next year and then be like, all right, buddy, here's the keys, go ahead. And then he goes out there and like Matt was talking about, we were talking about somebody in the AFC last week where you put in, I think it was Drake May. I think if you put Drake May in right off the bat and he doesn't do good, he's going to be, climbing uphill.
Yeah.
I think it's the same situation the Giants could run into, and I think it'd be detrimental to the quarterback.
Once you throw him in there, you can't bench him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would love for them to pick up a free agent next year, or keep Daniel Jones. Does enough to keep him for another year.
With his contract now not looking as bad as it once did when we first signed him.
Is he going to be up next year?
What, his contract? I believe he has.
I think he's to 2026, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3 more years.
So he has these 2 seasons, and then his 2026 season is the up, I think, where he has to re-up.
Yeah. So his contract no longer looks bad. Especially when it comes to the cap hit, if we were to ever cut him,
especially with a rookie quarterback,
handcuffed.
Rookie quarterback has a small contract. You could honestly bring him in and leave him on the bench.
So it's just dependent on how, like our O-line with all the moves we've made, they should be good. We should go from 31 to I'd say probably about 17th, 16th in the NFL.
I think if you can break the 20,
if we break 20, it's a win.
Yeah, I think if you can break 20 with your defense, I think you can easily get to 8 or 9.
Personally, I don't know if y'all think it's homer or not. I think our defense, at least when it comes to the front 7, is top 10 in the league. Looking at like 9 or 10 area. But when it comes to our front 7 with our D-line and our linebackers.
I'm curious to see.
I don't just project them to be that, but I think they can be that.
I don't think their front 7 is really that bad, this year. And they struggled getting pass rush, but again, when they had full fields to go. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, the area of concern is the secondary. And that's because of how young they are, and we don't have an answer for cornerback 2 yet.
So,
they're projecting maybe we pick
you
one
said
free
ceiling.
agent. Ceiling, I think, is 9 or 10 wins.
9 or what?
Everything's.
I don't think double digits, Mike. I'm sorry. That could be you being a homer, but I don't think double digits.
No, I'm thinking of our schedule, 9. We have a tough schedule, 9.
Matt, what do you think?
So I've been quiet. I've been letting Mike talk about them.
That's expected. It's his team. So
the Giants are now. Outside of right here, I'm always just going to trash the Giants.
Yeah, we hate each other's teams.
Mike likes them. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Mike taking the fucking game.
I mean, I'm kind of back and forth between them because I really like Dabble, their coach.
Yeah.
I really like him.
Speaking of that, a lot of Giants fans, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm
sorry.
He's
an amazing coach.
I was going to talk about this.
Giants fans are the most toxic fan base I've ever seen.
You are the Auburn of football because you guys have past success, just like we do in college.
Yeah, historically,
so your coach is going to be under a microscope. And I think if you, honest to God, I think if you win 6 wins a game, he gets on the hot seat for the following year.
I was in today I was writing paragraphs on an Instagram Giants fans club page because they're outrageous. They're calling for Daboll, who, mind you, won Coach of the Year 2 years ago, and Joe Schoen to get fired.
But
Shane, sorry, not
the one thing you have to admit. I say the same thing about Auburn in college. The moment you take your standards and put them lower is the moment your organization gets worse.
You're playing free.
Yes. You've got to have high expectations to be a successful team.
Yeah.
Just like we trash on the Steelers fans with Matt. But if your fucking expectations is to win double-digit games every year and make the playoffs, then that ultimately is going to make your team better.
Yeah. And I know I've talked to both of you offline. I'm okay with the Giants rebuilding. I love the direction the rebuild is going. We finally have a weapon for the first time since 2017 with Odell Beckham. We finally have an offensive line that's serviceable, at least on paper, in the last 10 years.
I'm not shaking my head. I'm telling you, I'm just over here.
I was confused on what you were doing. So, and the defense, I think, is looking great. We need one cornerback, 2, and a rookie safety to develop from being, in my opinion, a very good, very competitive defense. So, if quarterback's the question, win or lose, we cut him for low money, draft a quarterback that's hopefully in a winning position. The scary part is the O-line moves that we made, they're all about 32 years old or older. Some of them are coming off the best years of their careers. O-lines do last a long time, but this isn't a long-term fix. This is short-term to prove whether or not Daniel Jones is capable of leading a team.
Yep. And Matt, I know we cut you off. What's the ceiling?
I was going to say, and as I was saying...
Sorry.
Oh, well, because I haven't really talked about the team yet. So, like, I love Dabble. I really do think that, like, Daniel Jones, I like their defense. I do think they have potential to be, a top 10 defense. I do think they have that ceiling. But, man, it comes down to Daniel Jones, man. It does. Like, I know they had that good season in 2022, but, like, dude, they started off 6-2 and won, like, 2 more games. Mm-hmm. Like, they didn't do that good down the stretch. Like, they weren't that good down the stretch.
Yeah,
so,
no.
like,
Once they hit the harder part,
again, like I need to see it for a sustainable time.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just like he has his moments, but I just don't think he's anything special. And you just can't move on as a franchise with something that isn't special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would have their ceiling. I mean, I think they can be a playoff team. I think they could do it. I think they have the roster for it and the coach that can get the best out of them. So I would say, I mean, the playoffs is 10 wins.
Well, for the NFC last year, they had 3 teams with 9.
I'll say 9. I'll say they got to get lucky with 9, and they can make the playoffs. So I'll give them their ceiling is 9, just like the last year that they made the playoffs. Start off 6 wins to start the season, or 6-2, and get 3 to end it against very bad teams. I remember making fun of Mike a lot about this specific thing.
Wasn't bad
So,
teams.
I
The
need to
back end of
see
our
it,
schedule was the
but-
hardest. That was when the Seahawks were in the playoffs.
Dude, you beat like the Colts. It was like the Colts.
Yeah, that was 1
and,
week after the
like,
Colts blew out the
Washington.
Vikings that were the 1 seed.
It was like the Colts and Washington. Dude, the Colts were like a bottom 3 team that
I-
you're trying to make them good.
I'm
they
not.
had Jeff Saturday as their freaking
I'm not, but
coach,
we blew
dude.
out
They
the
weren't
Colts.
Good. We're trying to justify it.
Yeah, but we blew out the Colts.
God.
We beat them
I'm
like
complimenting
40
your
to
team
7.
here,
I
dude.
know.
Quit
But we blew out the
making me
Colts like
regret it.
40 to 7 a week after they blew out the Vikings like 40 to 7, and the Vikings were the 1
The team
seed.
you were calling a fraud that whole year. You were saying
Yeah,
that
'cause they were
team was
frauds.
awful all year.
They were.
Yeah, you guys were frauds. But anyways, I was trying to be nice, dude. I was trying to be nice to your team. Gosh. No,
Okay.
fuck them. No, they're 4-2. Fuck 'em.
Okay. So floor, I have 6. I don't think they're going to be worse than last year.
I would say 9-4. They could get 9 and somehow squeak into the playoffs, or they can be absolute dog shit.
I mean, what did we win last year? 6 games?
6.
6 games. We have a harder schedule. I'll keep our floor at 6.
But that wasn't your. I mean, okay.
No,
It was pretty bad.
Last year, it wasn't our floor, but on everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
Daniel
Especially at the
Jones got
beginning.
injured twice. We had to play our third-string quarterback. 2 of our starting receivers were out. We were down to practice squad, and having retirees come off the couch to come play offensive line for us. Defense, they did what they could, but it's hard when the offense starts on your 30.
Oh, I understand. I get it.
Yeah. So we won 6 last year. That really was our floor. With how
I think it's this year's floor.
I don't think so, because y'all turned it up like crazy at the end of the like.
But I think
like
that was
y'all,
to
like,
show.
Were playing competitive ball at the end of the year.
even the beginning
You know
of the
what I mean?
year,
Like, you
a lot of our
squeaked-
losses
you
were
squeaked
one
them out.
possession.
Like it totally could have been worse.
Like
It was 100%.
Yeah, last year could have
2022,
went
when we
worse.
went to the playoffs, like 7 of our wins were one possession games that we won at the very end. Like we beat the Ravens because we forced
Yeah.
Lamar to fumble the ball. We beat the Titans by going for 2. Like 22 and 23 were just the exact opposite. In 22, we won games on the last drive. In 23, like we stayed competitive in a lot of games outside of both Cowboys games. They blew us the fuck out. One of the Eagles games, they blew us the fuck out. But a lot of the others were one possession games that just didn't go our way.
So what's your floor, Mike? Because I have 6. Matt has 4.
6.
Okay, 6. So let's roll into the Cowboys. We're talking about the Cowboys. Cowboys last year were
Fuck them
12 and
boys.
5. The offense was 4, defense was 5, which seems like a huge letdown if you have the number 4, number 5, and you do what the Cowboys do.
So the Cowboys recap on season's over, free agency's about to start. Jerry Jones gets on the mic and says, "We are all in." They proceed to follow with the offseason.
And then they did nothing.
Yeah, they did nothing. In fact, they signed one dude in free agency, and I believe it was Eric
They
Kendricks.
pissed off their team, too.
Yeah, getting that part. They signed, I think it was Eric Kendricks in the offseason. That was their one move.
Jordan Lewis, I think, is their only move. Then they took up 2 free agents.
Let's see.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis, and they took a free agent of Jaron, don't know how to pronounce the guy's last name, and Stephen Gilmore.
Those are guys they lost.
No, are they?
Yes, they were on the team last year. They're free agents that are still active free agents.
Okay.
Stephon Gilmore and Jaron Kearse. So they ended up losing their starting running back, their starting center, their starting right tackle, their starting interior D lineman, and one of their edge rushers that was a big rotational piece. The team, by all means, got worse through free agency. My issue with the Cowboys is during the draft, they didn't make any splashes. They drafted for depth, which when you lost that many pieces and you just said you're all in, and the only new starter you have that's a rookie is the left tackle of Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma.
Which I think is going to be a fucking beast, by the way.
I think he's good, but he's not going to replace Tyron Smith, who's a future Hall of Famer, at least not immediately.
No,
'Cause that's
not,
who they're replacing him with.
not immediately, but he's going to be a dog.
Zach Martin, I think, is like 36 years old now. He's old. Used to be the best guard.
What about running back?
Running back, they re-signed Zeke.
On
lost
here,
Pollard, who kind of
Zeke
had
is their
him.
starting running back. Outside of that, they have Rico Dowdle, who came in and was okay. That's about it. Then preceding that, they refused to extend CeeDee Lamb. They offered him a contract. CeeDee Lamb, who I think we can all agree is a top receiver in the league.
He's I mean, you could call him the best if you wanted to.
Yeah, like if you said he's top 3, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, you do. I won't argue if you call him top 1.
If you call him top 1?
Yeah, I want to argue with you about it.
I'd debate you, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah,
He's one of the best receivers in the NFL, and he expects to get paid. Yeah, he expects to get paid like a top receiver in the NFL. And they offered him a contract that was like $20 million less, I think.
Yeah.
Total?
Yeah, they could have did. They pulled a Jalen Brunson. They did what the Mavs did with Jalen Brunson. They could have gave him a very fair contract that wasn't even really crazy. I mean, Jalen Brunson. I mean, the Mavs fucked up way worse because they could have gone for like a super deal, like a Lou Dort contract.
Yeah.
But like same concept. Like,
yeah, they expected to get a hometown
like,
discount for a receiver.
Yeah.
Why?
Yep, he bet on himself, went crazy.
Yeah, if you tell me any top wide receiver ever in the NFL and them not be a diva and willing to take a hometown discount, I can't think of a single one. Every receiver.
The only way you do that is if you think you're going to try to get a Super Bowl.
Even then, you'll never see that from a wide receiver. A wide receiver will just go somewhere else to get paid. Look at Tyreek Hill. He thought he was worth money. Chiefs weren't willing to give him that money because they didn't have it. So he went to Miami.
Yeah, but he's also won some Super Bowls, so it's a different position.
But in general, a receiver wants to get paid. There's not that many humble guys who are like, yeah, you could sign me for the cheap. I know I'm the best guy out there, but you could sign me for cheap.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ayuk.
Exactly. So then you get to their quarterback, Dak Prescott, also needs an extension. And the Cowboys are just flat out not giving him an offer. Honestly, there's a lot of people out there that are contemplating that if Daniel Jones sucks, the Giants are going to pick up Dak Prescott.
Now, the thing with Prescott, though, is I kind of give Dallas props for not like giving him a big contract and re-signing him because he had a really good season last year.
Yeah, he was an MVP candidate.
I give them props because they don't overreact. Is he going to do it again? Like that's my thing. Is he going to give you that output again?
Like he's been awesome.
Yeah,
like every year. Like he's
but he
regular season he's awesome.
Regular season. I mean, last year he wasn't that bad in the playoffs.
But
it's kind of hard to say when you're playing the 49ers and when you lose. I mean, it's best defense. Yeah. So
it's not the fact that they lost, it's the fact that they got beat down. Yeah. And last year it wasn't even the 49ers. I believe it was the Packers.
No, they played the 49ers, didn't they?
No.
Did they?
No, I'm 90% sure, Mike. That's who they lost to because they won a playoff game and everybody was like, oh, shit, they won a playoff game.
I think it was 2 years ago.
No, I think it was last year.
Pulling it up. 2023, they lost in the wild card to the Green Bay Packers 48-32.
Really?
The year before that, they beat the Bucks 31-14, then lost to the Niners 12-19.
Okay, wow.
So, yeah, last year,
that's when Baker went.
Beat down by Jordan Love and company.
Yeah, because oh, wait, no, never mind. The Packers didn't. The Lions went to the NFC Championship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe the Packers ended up losing to the Bucks, and then the Lions beat the Bucks.
No, I think the Packers lost to the 49ers because they had them beat. Hold on. I'm pretty sure the Packers were like on the 49ers' ass in the playoffs, and then they came back and sunned them. I'm looking at it.
While you guys do that, I'm just going to go ahead and say they won 12-5 last year. Okay. They'd get worse.
So
they're still a playoff team, in my opinion.
Yeah, you are right, Matt.
The Packers lost 21-24 to the 49ers.
Yeah, and then Detroit beat Tampa in a close one too, I believe.
Yeah, because they were whooping on them. It was
Tampa beat Philly. That's what I was thinking of, the other NFC East team.
Now, do we think I think the Cowboys are still making the playoffs. Now, I still think their ceiling is 12 wins.
Oh, 12. That's high for me.
for ceiling as
Yeah.
best as possible? You don't think they can go 12?
They lost too much for me to give them that high of a ceiling. They still have Dak, who's going to perform at a high level in the regular season. They still have CD, who's going to perform at a high level on defense.
But who else, man?
Yeah, I mean, their offense besides that is
yeah.
their tight end solid.
Like Jake Ferguson's good,
Yeah.
but
He's not
like
top
where's
notch.
the run game?
Yeah, they don't have a running back because Zeke's he's not a number one running
No, I
back
get that.
anymore. He's a short yardage guy, maybe a goal line guy. Rico Dowdle can't take that role.
It's going to depend a lot on what Rico does because I mean I think Russ can come in spurts and help him out. I mean I think at this point in his career he's a really good relief back. He's really good second option in my opinion. I mean he was still getting he was averaging 21 opportunities a game at the end, like the last 7 games last year. And he was efficient. He was getting it done. He was doing good. So, in complimentary role, I think he'll be fine. But can Rico be the guy? You know?
Yeah.
And they have Mike McCarthy was talking up Royce Freeman.
Yeah, who came from the Rams, and Mike McCarthy also on his last year of his deal, and Jerry Jones refuses to re-sign him. So Jerry Jones at this point is pissing off the entire team and holding all of their contracts on their head.
To go on top of that, because Cowboy fans are always delusional. Did you guys see? Are the Cowboys fans starting to
they're losing faith in Jerry?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, because did you guys see their fall camp or where there's like fucking 7 fans?
Yeah, I think it was for the last 25 years they've never sold out their training camp like spectators. I think they had like 25 total people in the stands this year watching them. So we just lost Matt.
Okay.
So we'll continue. He's back.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
You're good. So I think the fans are losing faith in Jerry. They want him to lose the reins because
he'll never give it up.
No, he's not going to give it up till he dies. But the team got worse. You can't go out in public on media stage, especially for Dallas, America's team, probably the most popular team in the country for whatever fucking reason.
Ton of money.
Has all the money. Base. Talk about going all out, talking about making sure that you guys win, and then doing nothing, and then pissing off every star player you have.
So what do you have for their ceiling?
9.
Wow.
I think they have an off year. I think it's going to be their worst year in recent memory.
That means they could most likely be missing the playoffs.
I think 9 still makes the playoffs. It's a wild card.
It could. It means they can try to fight for a wild card spot.
I don't think the NFC is going to be that much better than last year.
NFC last year, 3 teams made it with 9.
Yes, I'm saying. I think 9 still gets them in the playoffs.
It's usually a 9 seed is usually battling for it, but there's usually multiple 9 seeds.
Yeah, and it's going to go down to their schedules and who won and. What do you got, Matt?
So, I think that this is their down year. The vibes are down. They lost some guys. People aren't getting paid. I mean, Dak and CD are really good. But like you said, the line's a little soft now. I think they could have 8 wins. I put that I middle. They can. Their ceiling is still 11 wins. Because we've seen it. They're.
Yeah, I'm keeping it low because the NFC East benefited last year on an easy schedule, and the AFC North. There's not an easy game in the AFC North. There's not.
Now,
no,
I agree with you though. I have 12, Matt just at 11. I even though if everything comes off the bus, the fucking wheels fall off, it's on fire going on the road.
That's the feeling though.
Yeah.
But I really do think that I think they're going to miss the playoffs. I think that this is the year that the wheels come off and they are forced to the Cowboys next year. I think it's going to be a totally different team.
Yeah, I'll change it. I'm being harsh.
Paying people.
Ceiling 10. I predict 8 to 9.
See, I say my Florida's gonna be crazy. I said 12 for their win for their ceiling. Florida, I still think they go 9. I still think they win 9. Like, I think if the bus comes apart, I think still it'll go 9 and make the playoffs, but I just think it's going to be the setup for the following year for it be even worse when they start losing more players.
Like I said, I think their ceiling is still high. They can still be a really good team. But I just don't, they have the players for it. I just don't think they're going to. I just think stuff's going to go bad, and it's just going to snowball, man.
And I think a lot of these dudes that they're holding contracts over, they know regardless. At this point, I don't think any of them are re-signing. I don't think Dak can come out and play MVP, and I think he's going to go test free agency. CD could go and win Offensive Player of the Year. He's going to go test free agency. I think they just broke ties with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. So,
and that's kind of,
in the counter part of that, they know even if they don't have a great year, if they don't carry this team to the playoffs, and they just hold it that much against them that this dude is fucking them, maybe they don't try to play to win. Maybe they do drop a few games because they don't care. Close game situation, final drive, CeeDee Lamb has to burn the corner and jump over the safety. Why?
I don't know. I still think
he's going to get a bag regardless. You know what I mean? So I just have 10 wins as a ceiling.
So what's the floor? I said 9. What'd you say?
8. What do you got, Matt?
I mean, 10, and I think, I would say, their ceiling and floor are, their ceiling is, 12. I mean, like I said, they can be awesome. But I think they're going to win, 8 or 9 games is what I think. And it's kind of a reason why, I'm a little bullish on the Giants is because, I'm pretty low on the Cowboys. And I'm not too high on the Eagles either. So I think that division is going to get punched in the mouth this year.
Okay, so speaking of that, let's go to the Eagles.
All right. The biggest change for the Eagles this year. Jason Kelsey. I really do believe that it is him being gone is going to fuck their offense. Not fuck their offense, but I don't think the tush push is going to be OP anymore. So everyone always wanted to complain about and ban the tush push. But the thing is why wasn't everyone else doing it? It's not like everyone else wasn't at the 1 yard line. It's because they didn't have Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, but I don't want to give it all to Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey is the number 1 all-time center.
I wouldn't
for the NFL.
I don't know about all-time number 1. I mean, you can make some arguments.
He's awesome.
He's great. Yeah,
until you can give me a name, I'm putting him at number 1.
You don't like the center that the Colts had? I'm not saying he's all-time number 1.
He's an all-time great. He's not number 1.
He's an all-timer. Jason Kelsey is an all-timer.
Certified first ballot Hall of Fame.
Off the field.
But losing him, when it comes to the tush push, I don't think they need him to be successful with it. I think a big part of it is Jalen Hurts. One of his biggest things is how strong the motherfucker is. A lot of it was through him, and a lot of it is through the fact that dude can squat 700 fucking pounds and is an Olympic power lifter, pretty much. That dude, with his legs alone, can probably give him that half yard needed for that tush push. Will it be less effective? I do agree. Will it be ineffective where they don't run it anymore? I disagree. So,
I mean, it only takes a couple times of it not working on 4th or 3rd down for you to get scared off of it. You know,
I think it goes from being a 97% success rate to an 85.
The problem is I understand people wanting to ban it. The only reason the tush push works nowadays and why people didn't used to run it is because it used to be a penalty to push somebody from behind forward.
Yeah.
It still is dominant no matter who your center is. Your center low-key can just hold his ground. The guys behind you are going to push you across. All you need is a foot.
Yeah.
So.
That's the thing. Other teams ain't going crazy on it,
But I think you're going to see a lot more teams try it.
I'm excited to see what happens to it. I'm pretty pumped to see.
Yeah, because they're still going to run it. There's still week 1. You're probably going to see it ran.
Yeah.
And
we're going to see it quick, man.
Yeah, and I think it's still going to be successful. I think it's still going to be stupid because not only that, but now one of the guys that's pushing him is other certified fucking Olympic powerlifter, Saquon fucking Barkley.
Yeah, I think that
They still have the mass to move forward.
yeah, them not being able to do the tush push all the time is going to open up a lot of goal line carries for Saquon. I think he's going to go crazy this year.
Barring health, absolutely. Like I'm upset. I was happy that we moved on from him. I was upset to see the team that he went to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet you would, man.
The only team that I would have hated more was the Cowboys.
That's why I love. That's why I love Patrick Queen coming to us. It feels nice, dude.
Oh yeah, being on the other side of that rivalry still.
Oh yeah, it feels awesome. Yeah.
But
I remember when Mike Hilton went to the Bengals. I was crushed, dude. I was fucking crushed.
Yeah. And the AFC North, I guess, now I'm thinking about it, sees that a lot more than the NFC does. The NFC East, we hardly ever. But
yeah, we took Joe Hayden from the Browns.
But besides Kelsey, the Eagles didn't lose a lot. They lost DeAndre Swift, who we just talked about. They replaced him with Saquon.
Offense is going to be dirty.
Yeah. And DeAndre Swift had a great year last year. I give more credit to the O-line. Every run, this dude wasn't getting touched until he was already past the first level. Halftime, the linebackers couldn't even touch him because they were also being blocked by Lane Johnson, who's going to be a future Hall of Famer. Jason Kelsey, first-round ballot Hall of Famer. One of their other tackles or guards is also going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, their O-line was just stupid. So I give more credit to the O-line than I did to DeAndre Swift. He balled out. Happy for him. He got his paycheck now with the Bears. But besides that, they lost Nicholas Morrow, linebacker, who I couldn't tell you shit about. Quez Watkins, who was very underwhelming and was not good. And then Sua Opeta, I don't believe he was one of their starters last year. Probably why he's ranked 219 in PFF.
Jesus Christ. I mean, they went 11-6 last year. Definitely underperformed what people were expecting. Early playoff exit. What do we think?
I mean,
ceiling?
So some of the dudes they gained Bryce Huff on the edge, who's a good pass rusher. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they got again, who last time he played here, played 8 weeks before he got hurt and led the league in interceptions by like 4. Chauncey was fucking insane for them. Hometown talent for us as well in Brevard. They signed Devin White, signed Mekhi Becton from the Jets. Paris Campbell, Giants, didn't really play that much last year. Like, I think this team in general, even with the loss of Jason Kelsey, got better. So I think this team got better. I think in the draft, they killed it. They drafted that corner. It wasn't Quinion Mitchell. It was the other guy. Do you remember who it was, Matt? No, I think you're right. Was it Quinion Mitchell?
Again, who they
yeah, they did. They drafted Quinion Mitchell, who I had as number one. You had number one.
From Toledo. Yeah, they got 2 awesome cornerbacks.
Yeah, and then after that, they picked up Cooper DeJean, who's going to play probably honestly, he might not even play nickel because Chauncey's there now.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Dude,
they're
good
pretty
for them. I fucking wanted to see that last time he was there. So yeah, so then Cooper's going to be their corner or their slot guy.
I'd like to point out a good addition for him this year. Not players, but they got Kellen Moore for their offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's gonna. I think that I did not like how they were on. I hated them on offense last year. At like the second half of the year, I hated watching them play.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
I got nothing against the Eagles, and I've usually been a Jalen Hurts fan, but it just made me hate them last year.
It was like
so I think Kellen's gonna open it up a lot.
Well, to open the year, they were great, but then December hit. It was like a meme, and they lost 6 straight games, including the playoffs.
Yeah, they sucked.
And that was a big part of injury, and just in general, they were struggling. So I do agree. I think Kellen Moore is a huge pickup. I think this team got better, even with the lack of Jason Kelsey. You said they won how many games last year?
11.
11?
And their over-under for this year is 10.5, I believe.
Yep, I think their ceiling is 12 wins. Man, honestly, I'll even say 13.
I would say 13 because they have a higher ceiling than the Cowboys, in my opinion.
I think outside of the Niners, they are the team to beat in the NFC.
So, Matt,
I'll give them 14.
14? Yeah. I mean, I still think they're going to be good.
Yeah.
I think they win the division.
Oh, for sure.
They're awesome. I mean, they're freaking awesome.
We're nitpicking. I do agree that their offense was questionable at times for like what the fuck they're trying to do.
In the second half, for sure. First half, they were lighting it up.
But floor, I don't see them not getting double digits. I still see 10 as a floor. I think they still win double digits no matter what.
I agree.
Yeah, because they were bad. I mean, they did drop like their last
It was their December 1st hit. And they forgot
I think they had 2 losses at that point.
They only had 1 or 2 losses, and then December hit, and they lost the majority of their games.
Yeah, so I would probably agree with. Their floor probably 9, but like 14-9, I would say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 13-10. I think it's right in there.
Yeah,
division champs.
That's where I have them at.
Okay, so let's real quick, running low on time. So what do we got? Eagles 1.
Pick them between, honestly, for me, Cowboys and Giants. If we're going off what probable, Cowboys 2, Giants 3, Commanders 4.
I agree with that 100%.
I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna go, and I hate to do it. I really do.
Uh-oh.
But crazy things happen every year that no one thinks going to happen. I mean, I think it could be Eagles, Giants, Cowboys.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. Mike's getting
I was worried if you were going to go Giants 2 or Commanders 3 and Giants 4.
Okay, so
no,
I like it. It's so fun that we're able to talk about this, and we're so close to watching these guys play.
This is the month.
I know. And this is the month for college, and then next month, September, right, for NFL.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, we're getting there.
So, Matt, we appreciate you coming on the show.
Yep, thanks, man.
This is going to happen more and more often.
Great time.
Yeah, now that the season's coming in, we're expecting a more consistent schedule, more consistent with our guest speakers. Yeah. Matt will be a reoccurring talk on here. We'll probably have Josh, who you guys have heard from. Like, we're excited for it.
And Matt, we'd love to have you back on.
On the mess week. We just cut him off like 14 straight times.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I can't wait to come on here after a huge Steeler win and just talk massive shit after we start 6-0 on the season.
Well, on top of that, though,
wait.
What I was gonna say is I can't wait to have Matt on for college as well, and Mike and I are going to be revealing our 12-team prediction college football playoff,
projected playoffs, projected conference rankings.
Yep. So we're going to ask all of our guests to make a mock 12-team college football playoff and just see what we have, because I think this is the most interesting year for college with this 12-team playoff.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see.
And it's going to be fun to talk about a group of 5 team, because one of them's got to get in.
Oh, yeah.
Boise.
Oh, yeah.
Really? I'm thinking like App State or – I think it's a Sun Belt team all the way.
Shut the fuck up, Matt.
That's my dynasty team.
Oh, yeah?
For the listeners out there, yeah.
All right, Matt.
Me and Mike's dynasty. Yeah. Yep.
We appreciate you coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time.
Peace out, dude.
See ya.
And everyone listening, thank you so much for listening to the Stroke Limit Reach podcast. We have so much in store for you. And remember, tune in, guys. It's coming up. College football season's coming up. Mike and I still have that bet on the line. Mike is going to sit here and sing Florida's fight song if Miami loses week 1, and I'm going to be on air. We're going to try to somehow film it so we can put it on Twitter for you guys to see if I end up having to, eat the fucking hottest chip in the world, or if Mike's going to sing the fight song. We're not going to let that not be seen. So a lot coming up. Follow us on Stroke Limit Reached for YouTube, for TikTok, and Twitter. We're going to start posting a lot more content, some sound bites. We'd love for you guys to start giving us questions as the seasons are coming up. We'd love to answer any questions you got, college, NFL, you name it. So until next time, guys.
Yerp.